DC had Batman, DC had Superman, and Marvel started their entire universe with, at the time, a C-list weapons dealer who had a drinking problem on both sides of the screen and zero solo movie history. But somehow Marvel is the one that changed the blockbuster movie cinematic universe forever. I was in a tiny movie theater in Statesboro, Georgia the night Avengers Infinity War ended, with Thanos winning and doing exactly what he said he would do, ending half of all life. People walked out crying. Some people actually passed out. I mean, they didn't pass out at my screening, but it happened. That doesn't just happen with most movies. That's been like 11 years of build-up, story, and characters, all for you to get attached to, and for Thanos to take it away so easily, it felt like taking away 11 years of a life you once knew. This video is about how they built an amazing universe of movies, why starting with Iron Man was the smartest bet in blockbuster history, and why DC, with the more famous and iconic characters, have struggled to copy the blueprint, and maybe they don't need to. I remember that first iconic Iron Man trailer hitting during the Super Bowl in 2008. Robert Downey Jr., a guy best known for at the point of personal scandals and indie roles that nobody outside of film nerd circles had seen, in a suit of gold and red armor. And I just sat there thinking like, whoa, that was cool. Here's the part people don't even consider, but Iron Man was probably the dumbest choice to make. Marvel didn't even own the movie rights to their most famous characters at the time. Spider-Man belonged to Sony, still kinda does. X-Men and Fantastic Four belonged to Fox at the time. The characters Marvel actually had in-house to build with were the leftovers. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and just barely the Hulk, because Universal still owns the movie rights for him, but nobody was betting on an egotistic weapons manufacturer with a drinking problem to save a movie studio. But it did. Iron Man made back its budget several times over and was an instant success, and it ends with a scene that was starting to rewrite the whole industry. Nick Fury shows up in Stark's living room and tells him more or less that he's just become part of something a lot bigger than himself. 2 words hit the screen after that: Avengers Initiative. It's kind of like a if you know you know moment at that time. That's the whole blueprint in one scene. Marvel wasn't just selling you a movie, they were in a way making you a promise of more to come at the end of the movie. And then they kept it. One brick at a time. The Incredible Hulk came out next. The Hulk wasn't a huge gamble like some of the others were. He already had a movie back in 2003 and had a roller coaster at Universal Studios since like 1999, but people already knew who he was. Bringing him into this new universe wasn't adding a new hero, it was adding a character with actual built-in name recognition, and that mattered once the plan became making 6 different heroes feel like one legitimate team instead of a group of strangers who happened to show up in the same movie. Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America the First Avenger, 4 movies in 4 years, each one introducing a new piece of the map. Stark Industries, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Tesseract, meaning nothing on their own, yet everything the second they collided. So by the time the Avengers hit in 2012, it became a payoff for 4 years of patience and movie loyalty. I remember the theater actually cheering at the shot of the 6 of them standing in a circle for the first time, like in the big epic fight scene. This was the moment, and it's still referenced to this day. That gave Marvel the green light to keep building. They kept going for 7 more years. My college did an outside movie night for Avengers Age of Ultron, projector, blankets, the whole thing, cementing these movies as something you enjoy as a group. That's just what fan culture around this thing was starting to become by 2015, because by then the MCU wasn't really a franchise, it was a shared experience. And as of now, 38 movies. Spider-Man Brand New Day just hit $1 billion in its opening weekend, and we have at least 5 other films on the schedule that we know about 18 years later. And if you asked me in 2008 what comic property would be more successful, the one that just dropped The Dark Knight with Batman, or the one who just dropped an Iron Man movie, come on, you know what I would pick. But of course, those 38 movies and TV shows, there comes a trade-off. You really have to do your homework to fully enjoy some of the upcoming movies. You can't just walk into a random movie theater the way you could with most standalone movies in 2008. I mean, Marvel themselves said that you need to watch both seasons of Loki to fully benefit from Doomsday. To understand Loki, you need to see Avengers and Avengers Infinity War and parts of Endgame. To understand Infinity War, you need to see Iron Man Superman, Captain America, Spider-Man, Thor, and many more movies. So by the time you're deep into the multiverse saga, keeping up practically requires a syllabus and dedicated weekends of just watching movies. Let's also look at some recent box offices in 2025. Captain America Brave New World topped that at $415 million worldwide. Thunderbolts made $382 million, numbers that would have been a success for any other franchise for phase 1, but is the trade-off worth it? For me, yes, but for someone just trying to get into the movies now this late in the game, maybe not. The same interconnectivity that makes Endgame feel like the biggest theatrical event of your lifetime is the exact thing that makes casual viewers give up somewhere around phase 3. You can't have the payoff without the long-term commitment. So in a way, the blueprint that made this thing work is the same blueprint that eventually made it exhausting. Maybe that's just the cost of building something this ambitious. For me, is it worth it? Yes. When Batman v Superman was coming out, my college gave away free tickets and ran shuttles to get people to the theater. That's how big the hype was. Everyone wanted to see two of the most iconic characters in comic book history finally share a screen. And even more than that, everyone wanted to know why they were fighting in the first place. And it was bad. Not bad, but fun, like a Hallmark movie, like genuinely bad. It made its money almost entirely off the title and the hype, because the movie itself didn't deliver. Reviews were brutal, and the "why are these two fighting" question the whole marketing campaign was built around, like it was not worth the wait. And what makes this DC situation more frustrating is that they weren't starting from zero. Long before the live action movies, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited had already proven that a team of wildly different heroes could share a screen and feel like one cohesive story. Teen Titans had built its devoted following on Cartoon Network, so did Static Shock. So DC had already shown in animation that the formula worked and that the interest was there as well. So what happened? I'm still not exactly sure. The Dark Knight series did well, then there was Man of Steel in 2013, and afterwards things kind of started going downhill. Batman v Superman in 2016, Justice League in 2017. Aquaman did pretty good, but you can tell the foundation of this universe was starting to crumble underneath them after Batman v Superman released. Compare that to Marvel spending 5 movies and 4 years just getting you attached to individual characters before ever putting them in the same room. Also, Superman was damn near evil. The Flash actor was choking people out in real life. This isn't about DC having worse characters. It's the opposite. Batman and Superman were already more famous than anyone Marvel started with. The Batman video games are iconic. It's not even that DC made uniformly bad movies, because the first Wonder Woman proves that they could get it right when they slowed down. My personal opinion is that the universe was getting too serious in tone instead of being fun comic book characters. The movies felt dark and a bit flat. The characters took themselves so seriously. Marvel understood that these movies weren't just about the hero, but the person behind the mask, who they were, how they changed and developed. Remember that year we had to wait after Infinity War? That gap wasn't just a marketing stunt. That was Marvel cashing in 11 years of trust all at once. When Endgame finally hit, it broke the record for the biggest global movie opening of all time and held the record for highest grossing film, period, until Avatar did a whole re-release. That's kind of cheating, low-key, but Endgame's gonna do a re-release as well in September, so we'll see how that happens. But this was the fastest any movie had ever cost $1 billion, then $2 billion. People weren't just going to see a movie, they were going to get resolution to a chapter of really their life. The first act is quiet, bleak, and somber. Half of all life is gone. 5 years has passed. Some of these characters have moved on, rebuilt lives, grieved, and grown old around the loss. And the movie makes you sit in that for like 90% of the movie before it gives you anything close to hope. Then the third act happens, and I don't think any theater experience in my lifetime tops it. We all know the moments. Cap picks up Mjolnir, a payoff set all the way back from Age of Ultron. Then Cap proceeds to wield lightning and beat up Thanos. Then Hulk snaps everyone run back, and there's maybe 30 seconds of relief before they're all needed in a fight immediately. Then the portal opens on your left, another reference from many movies ago. This is what movies feel like at the highest peak of emotions. It's the closest thing to a live sporting event that I felt inside a movie theater. Almost better than any Falcons versus Saints game. And then it ends the only way it could. Tony Stark, the character who started this whole thing, snapping his fingers and saying 4 words that started it all. I am Iron Man. Except this time it's a goodbye and a sacrifice by the character. A story closing the loop on itself. 11 years, 22 movies, one continuous story, and none of it works if Marvel didn't have the patience all the way back in 2008 to bet on a character nobody expected to build something bigger, one brick at a time. So, could it have worked with any other character? Honestly, I don't know. Could it also just been right place, right time? DC had the characters and honestly the TV shows. Marvel had the patience and willingness to bet big, and patience, it turns out, was the actual superpower when it comes down to these two. So let me know what you all think. Supergirl just released and it is one of the lowest grossing films in DC history. I am not sure why. I don't know where that came from. Maybe this just was a misstep by DC as a whole to release Superman and then another movie about basically a same super person, instead of just playing the hits, which is kind of what people want. But Marvel didn't play the hits. They couldn't play the hits. They gave us Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, who weren't, you know, the hugest, most popularly, most known people, but they made them the most popular, the hugest, and most known by most people comic book characters. So yeah, peace.